Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff.
Damn it, Jeff.
That's Don. Damn it, Don. We want to welcome you to DGG Presents. We're your two favorite damn good games creators and game masters. And in this podcast series, we're going to go over damn good games content, creations, and some tabletop RPG tips and tricks to improve the whole gaming experience. So sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy.
Yar.
This is DGG Presents, and I'm Jeff.
Damn it, Jeff.
And that's Don, also known as Damn It Don, a
Uh,
frequent phrase uttered by the players in the mini games Don has GM'd over his tabletop RPG lifetime. You'll learn more about this later as we get into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little Q&A session here with Don about a Marches campaign. One of the rewards for the DGG patrons is to be able to have a access to play in a Marches campaign, which is in a 5th edition D&D setting. So first, biggest question for those that may not know already, Don, what is a Marches campaign?
all right. Well, a Marches game has a pretty large pool of players, and usually between 3 to 5 of them get together and play sessions ad hoc as they have time. Each group, as they progress, influences the world and kind of lays paths on top of paths, as you would think. It's really quite a unique experience, and it's really effective, especially for us adult players who have really crazy responsibilities and scheduling issues.
So how does one go about playing a session in a Marches campaign?
Typically, players will get together if they all have time. Like I said, between 3 and 5, they'll create a party and they'll see if the DM has time. And when their time frames match up, they put a session together and go for it. It's all player driven.
And so let's say one group gets together, you get 3 players that go out and have a session, and then, you know, 5 different players for the next session play. What's that second session going to be like?
Well, if the first party managed to do something, say uncover, for instance, a place, a ruin, what have you, the other party might be able to go and find more information or progress even further than the first party did. Each person, as they play the game, influences how things will play out in the next sessions.
So in this campaign that we're running here, every player's decisions they make in every session are going to affect everything else that happens after that point.
Yeah, it's very like ripples in a pond kind of setup. Each person's path kind of helps carve the way the world is going to be shaped in many ways.
You're 100% right about this being a good way for busy adults to get in a play session. You're not having to worry about getting the same group of people at a table at a time every time. This session is going to be run over Roll20, very excellent online tabletop source for virtual tabletop.
Yep, and
And you can, like as Don has said, you can schedule times when you are available. And so if you have a group that plays, if you're missing someone, somebody else maybe can be able at time to step in, and there's no need to cancel a session because
yep,
somebody can't make it, which, as we all
absolutely.
know as tabletop RPGers, that there's nothing worse than when you've got a scheduled campaign going on and 1 or 2 people can't make it, and so you have to postpone a session or
Yeah, and
skip a session or something else. And this setting kind of takes that pressure and that need out of the equation entirely.
yep. Another side note as far as Roll20 is we also have all of the base rule sets available for 5e, and we're as Patreon growth increases, we'll be purchasing as many as we can to make sure that all of the different rule sets are available for players. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah. Some of you may have some more questions about what goes on in this setting. What's the world like? What's a session like? How do we make characters? We will be covering a lot of that information in some future podcasts. We're trying to keep a bunch of these like short at the beginning just to give intros. That
Yeah.
way, we know people are busy and sometimes you just don't have an hour to listen to a podcast, but you might
Yeah.
have a little 10-15 minute window here and there. So what we will still go over here is the kind of time of a average session, kind of a session, what we're shooting for as far as when you get your game started, start to end.
Yeah.
So Don, if you kind of go over that time frame and maybe just kind of a basic overview of what a session could entail.
Yeah, absolutely. Initially, one of the things we try to do is we try to have everybody to ready to play because each session has to be by nature between 3 to 4 hours. We try to get players to move at a really solid, very active speed throughout that time frame, but it is driven by the players, and their progression is going to be based on how far and how fast they can go. And luck plays into that. Once the players get together, there will be a um, basically a small meeting on how they choose to travel. There will be a system for travel actions as far as what direction they want to go, what rumors they've discovered, or if they're just going to set out and try to look at the wilderness and find something interesting. From there, depending on how good or bad you roll, you might run into an encounter, you might not. It just largely depends on the die rolls at that point and what direction the players decide to go.
RN Jesus, take the wheel.
Exactly. One of the things that we try to pride ourselves on, once you get past the earlier levels, say above third level, things start to get a bit more dangerous and encounters can scale rapidly depending on RNGesus, really. And then
Um,
from there, you reach whatever goal, or you attempt to reach whatever goal possible. Sometimes it's exploring an area that you've heard about, or it could be something like making contact with another civilization. All of those things are possible. From there, you just try to um, accomplish your goal within the time frame, and then set back as soon as you can.
and part of this is the goal is always to end your session back at the base town that will be created. We'll go over some more information about that in another podcast here, but there's a base starting point, a town everyone starts in, and the goal is to start and end each session there
Hmm.
or possibly at future outposts that may occur.
Yeah.
Basically, you're trying to get back to a city, a safe spot by the end of the game.
Yeah, the
And
worst thing you could do is end mid encounter because it's going to be counted as a failure.
and wanting to get back to the city is just kind of having a safe zone. That travel time to get back to the city is also included in your overall play time.
Hmm.
So it's not like, oh, 4 hours is up. Okay, we travel back to the city. Game over. While you're traveling back, there could be some sort of encounter because you still have to traverse the wilds
Yep.
and who knows what else to get back. So leaving some time to know, okay, we're getting close to the end of our time frame. We better start heading back and get there.
Yeah.
There could be some in random circumstances where maybe a game can't end and something needs to continue or
Yeah.
there's something else going on. Those will be done on a case by case basis, but
Yeah.
those are gonna be pretty rare overall.
Yeah. And some of those run into issues where, for instance, there's a large story element involved, or there's a major event that is a multi part event that we have discussed and worked out ahead of time.
The last little part we're going to get into on this podcast here is one of the other things that we've introduced into this campaign style are what Don has coined epics. Epics could include anywhere from just a normal size party or, up to 10, maybe more players. And this is some sort of special event that happens that will be scheduled at a certain time and it will include multiple groups of players, multiple DMs
Yeah.
collaborating at the same time on one special event.
Yeah.
These are generally more difficult things, but if parties are successful, tend to have some really good loot involved at
Yep.
the end of them.
Yeah, you can think of them almost kind of like raids if you're used to MMORPGs. They are usually small to large party groups. They're multi-part typically, or they're centered around special holidays or events. Uh, they've been a lot of fun in the past, and I'm really excited to bring these out to new people and see how they go.
All right. For those of you interested in participating in this session, it is available to our legendary tier patrons on our Patreon, Damn Good Games. And there's going to be on the Discord, which you will be a member of once you become a patron, there's going to be some documents giving you information to the world itself, history, background, character creation, all sorts of different things.
Hmm.
So you'll have documents you can read in front of you, as well as some of these podcasts like this we're going to get into that will explain all that to you.
Yeah, we might
So,
actually have some competitions too, as far as like NPC design for some of the starting town and all of that development. It's some fun stuff.
true. So we're gonna call this one a game for today. Don, we'd just like to thank all of you for listening. And the next podcast that you'll have on the list, DGG Presents number 2, is going to be talking about the city of Ordell,
Yep.
which is the starting city where everyone lives and starts out for this campaign.
Yeah,
So if
it's
you're
gonna be a blast.
interested, and if you're still interested, and we hope you are, stay tuned and find out what this world is going to look like from the get go.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Want to say goodbye to everybody, Don?
Sure. Damn it, Jeff.
Put him on the spot. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Yep. Later.